Hello, I'm Bill Reisig, and I'm here with my partners Mark Roniker and Melinda Miramont. Tom Petrisco had to step out for a moment. He'll be rejoining us shortly. Now, I rarely read business books because I pretty much know everything already. Not really. But one that I found incredibly interesting was a book called The Loyalty Effect by Frederick Reichelt. One reason we generally like a book is because it reinforces ideas we already have. And it's always been my opinion that if you are loyal to your customers and your employees, who are your two main constituencies, it'll eventually redound to your benefit. And what Reichelt did, he believed the same thing. And what he did was quantify the results. He looked at companies that had long-term relationships with customers and employees versus those that didn't, those that hadn't tend to have a lot of turnover. And he found that the results of the former were invariably better. Their financial results were invariably better. Now, there's an age-old debate as to whether there's any such thing as true altruism, or if it's all in your self-interest. It's illustrated by an Abraham Lincoln story, and of course, everything can be illustrated by an Abraham Lincoln story. But one day, Lincoln was in Washington during the Civil War, riding his carriage, and he saw a pig struggling in the mud. So the President of the United States, who was in the midst of trying to win a civil war and had all kinds of internal dissent, stopped the carriage, got out, and helped get the pig out of the mud. And one of his companions said, "What a selfless act that was." And he said, "That's nonsense. It was completely selfish. I would have felt terrible if that pig had died." And it's an old adage about doing well by doing good. When we're able to help a longtime customer succeed, and we're talking about our customers, we'll forget the pig in the mud analogy, our customers, it makes us feel good, it helps them, and eventually it helps us.
To add some of my personal experience, I started my career at a very big public accounting firm, which was great experience and great training, but I quickly realized that we didn't really get personally invested with our clients. It was churn and burn. You were providing them with a product, their tax returns or financial statements, but I really wasn't interested in just stopping there. I wanted to be invested in their success, but the way public accounting firms built their engagements, that really wasn't part of the package, if you will. So before I gave up on public accounting altogether, I decided to go search out a regional firm that maybe could incorporate my interest in being invested in my clients along with the accounting that I actually really liked. So I found a regional firm, and they very much had that interest at heart. They wanted to be invested in all of their clients' success. And I was able to build personal relationships. They had longstanding clients, so loyalty was very much ingrained in their firm atmosphere and culture. And I was fortunate enough that Colebrook was one of my clients. And that kind of circles back on loyalty. We were a partner with Colebrook. We really were interested in their success along with our own. And I really enjoyed my relationships with my clients and that public accounting firm before I left and came here.
Yeah, I think when we were in the market for a new chief financial officer a couple of years ago, we knew we wanted to hire Melinda. We had worked with her over a period of 8 years as she came into our offices each year with her team from the accounting firm. And we knew she had the accounting knowledge we needed in a new chief financial officer. But what was just as important is over that 8 years, we knew she had a really strong work ethic, great attitude, and it was really great with customers. All the attributes we wanted in a Colebrook partner.
If I can interrupt you here, Mark, to say that now so much of the work is remote, and that's kind of a hot button with me. And if you had been working remotely, Melinda, you wouldn't be here.
Absolutely.
Because the fact that you came in, you were here, we got to know you, we got to see what you did, we got to go to lunch together, made a total difference. And I don't know who you interact with on our accounting firm now because I never see them.
And actually, there's been a lot of turnover since I left there. There are still some of the mainstays, they're still there. But unfortunately, I think that's going to be an issue going forward is nobody's really invested in their own careers because they don't have those personal relationships. So some of the staff that work on our engagement, I've never even seen their face. So it is tough, and I think that's going to be an issue going forward in all different industries is not having that personal connection and not really understanding everybody's background, their goals, their focus, because you never even see them face to face. So you're just getting business done, but you're not ever taking it a step further.
Yeah. And I think the more we know about our customers, the more we can help them, not just from a lending perspective, but by sharing information. Now, we obviously can't share confidential information, and we don't, but when we come across information, whether it's trends in the industry or a software package that's been particularly helpful for a customer, we tell our other customers about it. And back when we were in banking, Bill, there was a hesitancy to offer advice to customers because people were afraid of lender liability. And we're aware of that risk, but the stuff we've seen in lender liability has been way over the line, where you're asking somebody to hire your brother-in-law to, be a consultant, even though they know nothing about the industry. So we're not so concerned about sharing information as long as it's not confidential. And we actually look for opportunities to share information. Linda and I were up on the Cape last year, and one of our customers came to us and they were exploring the idea of changing their consumer documents to an all electronic format. And they asked us if we had seen that done before, and we said, sure, we had 2 customers that did it just recently. And I'm sure they'd be happy to talk to you about their experience, what went well, what the final product has been, and has that met their expectations, and what pitfalls to avoid. So we were able to set up those conversations. It was invaluable information to this customer, and they're now moving on with electronic documents starting next year. And those are the type of things we like to do where we think we can add value to the relationship.
The pandemic, when people were worried about how their portfolios were going to hold up, we've got a lot of portfolios that we service, and we shared all our information with calling them portfolio A, portfolio B, portfolio C. And we sent that out every month so our customers could see how their portfolios were performing in accordance with everyone else's, in real time pretty much, rather than waiting for a report to come out at the end of the year. Now, it's pretty easy to be loyal to a customer or an employee when it's to your direct benefit. The test of your loyalty comes when there's a little pain involved. Now, when COVID hit, nobody knew what was going to happen. And one of our employees came to me and said, should I apply for unemployment? And it was a noble gesture, but we didn't accept it because she's part of the group. And when COVID hits and there's a problem, you don't say, well, now you're not part of our group anymore. Come back when it's over and we'll be loyal to you again. And you see that all the time. The company's expressing these great values, these noble sentiments, and then, that's going to cost us $5,000. We can't do that. And that's a test of your values. And I was with a nonprofit at one time on the board, and they had a statement of core beliefs. These are our core beliefs. And then it came down to a point where some donors might be a little uncomfortable with that. So should we soft pedal it? And my feeling is, if these are your core beliefs, you believe them no matter what. They're not, lightly held opinions. And the things we believe in, even when sometimes in the short term it's to our economic detriment.
I think that's one of the things that I like most about Colebrook is our success parallels the success of a lot of our customers. And whenever we're looking at a new deal, we're often looking at it from all aspects, because if it's a good deal for us and it's a good deal for our customers, then you get that repetitive business and you have that mutual respect for one another, that that it's going to benefit everyone in the long term. And it seems that a lot of our new relationships are spin-offs of old relationships.
A lot of them. We were talking about the other day with Mark about somebody we've known for 20 years and never really done any business, but we've always kept in touch. If we're in Orlando, we'll stop in and have dinner. And now we're doing some business, because eventually people get to know you, and if you're decent, they get to trust you, we get to trust them, and you end up doing business together.
Yeah, all 3 of us were at our prior employers a long time before coming to Colebrook. Bill and I were at a bank for 15 years. Melinda, you were at your accounting firm for 20.
Yeah.
And now Bill and I have been at Colebrook for 20 years. And we haven't jumped around from place to place looking for the next best opportunity, and we like to do business with people who feel the same way.
Now, during the Great Recession of 2008, we were one of two lenders still active, and we had more business opportunities than we can possibly handle. I mean, the way to market then was just wait for the phone to ring, and it rang every day, all day long. People looking for money, looking for a lot of money. We couldn't do all of them, so what we tried to do was pick the developers we thought would be loyal to us in the long term. Because there are only some people who will jump for a quarter of a point in rate or a slight increase in advance rate. And we wanted to look for people who were going to stick with us. So we looked at how long they've been with their other lenders, and most of them that we picked had been with their lenders a long time. They were only leaving now because the lenders had deserted them. And we were very, very good at predicting who was going to stay with us. The people that we chose, most of them are still customers today. What's it, 12, 14 years later? If you see in the background behind Mark, there's a glass plaque from Welk Resorts. Welk was one of those. Welk needed us in 2008. We came there and we were still with Welk 12 years later. And they sent us a very nice plaque back there commemorating our long relationship together, and it was a great relationship. When we were in banking, we did some small business lending, and you take a chance on somebody because we were a community bank. And sometimes those people did really well. And most of them remembered it, would stay with you. And occasionally someone would leave for a very small quarter of a point. And most of them ended up coming back. So loyalty really has worked for us over the years very well.
It's interesting. A lot of things come full circle. As you said, sometimes people leave because they think the grass might be greener on the other side. Then they go off in the world and realize, I had a really good thing where I was. And the nice thing about some of the long-standing relationships that we have is you start to anticipate your customers' needs such that you can have something ready before they even ask you for it. And that's always such a great feeling. And you can say, yep, money's on the way, or we've got that under control. And they know that you've got them. And that's nice, I think, on both sides.
Yeah. I think some of our customers go back with us to 2003 when we first started Colebrook, so they've been customers for 20 years. And you don't have relationships for 20 years without each side hitting bumps in the road along the way. We've been through recessions, the financial meltdown of 2008, the pandemic, of course, and we've had customers impacted by natural disasters. And we've worked through a lot of difficult times together, and that's really when you build loyalty, because like Bill said before, it's easy to be loyal when times are good and things are going along well. It's really the test of it is the relationship is when things get difficult. You earn each other's trust and you work through those problems together.
I hazard to say that Bill actually thrives on the hazards. I get that sense that, when things are good, it's like, it's kind of boring.
Yeah,
Let's
so
throw something else in the mix.
Well, there's an opportunity, right, when things
Sure.
are a little
Very true.
sideways. So, but we've often said in these sessions that we don't generally lose customers unless they sell their company, and that's true. And if we don't like to lose customers, but if we're going to lose them, that's probably the best scenario we have to lose them, because when they sell their company, it's usually a really good result for them.
It is, and if you've been with someone for 20 years, they've really worked hard, you've seen them build a business from the ground up and they sell it and then they want to retire, you feel good for them. Feel kind of bad that we've lost the business, but you do feel good for them, and there's people who remember you. So thank you all for joining us. We hope you found something that you can use in your business, and we hope it was interesting to you. So we're going to sign off for now and say, come see us next time. And we've enjoyed talking to you. By the way, whatever happened to Tom?
It's on location.